I am finally pregnant, and it is so weird saying that out loud. Tyler and I have lost our baby at 9 weeks exactly. I'm in the same room that I lost my baby in, or not lost my baby in, but I'm in the same room that she found my baby in my cervix. Today is the day after Valentine's Day, and I finally broke down and called my doctor. If you clicked on this video, you know exactly what I'm going to talk about, and that is my HCG that I have been dealing with. If you guys saw in my last update or like video explaining like my depression and my obsession with TTCing, I explained a little bit about this, but I didn't go into too much detail because I wasn't sure like what the outcome was going to be, and I just didn't want to put out false information or too much information when I really didn't know. But before I get into all that, my dog needs to sit down. I know that I have a lot of new subscribers, and if you're jumping in right now, you might not know my whole background and my whole story. So I'm just gonna go ahead and explain what's been going on and my story just real quick. I'm not gonna take long. If you want to jump ahead and you already know who I am, then just go ahead and feel free. But for those of you who are new, hi, nice to meet you. I am Nicole, or Nikki. A lot of people call me Nikki. It's just easier, and only my mom calls me Nicole, especially when I was a kid. She was yelling at me. And me and my husband have been trying to conceive our second child for the last almost 3 years. We lost a baby in 2016 at like 6 weeks, and then it took us 2 years from that date to conceive our last baby that we had, but that ended in a miscarriage also at 9 weeks, right before Christmas this year. So that miscarriage was probably the hardest out of the two. They're both really hard to deal with, but this one was just a little bit more like, had a little bit more meaning, I guess. We've been trying for 2 years, and we finally conceived. We thought that this is the end, and we thought this was our rainbow baby, and then everything looked good. We went to multiple ultrasounds and saw our baby, and everything looked good. And then just the last appointment I had in December, the heart stopped beating, and that was very hard. I won't get into too much detail about it, but if you want to go and check out my video, it's in the video somewhere, and I explain everything that happened. But I actually did end up having a DNC because the medicine that they gave me did not work. So I ended up having a DNC on December 20th. It was a Friday, or 21st. It was December 21st. It was a Friday, and it is now the middle of February, and I'm still dealing with it to this day. So, and that's what these updates are about, is just updating you guys along this road of getting back on my cycles and back to TTCing, which we are almost there. Almost there. Okay, now let's get back into the video. So I had mentioned to you guys in my last video that I could have been pregnant, or I could be pregnant right now, because I ovulated. I don't know like what CD it would be because of my miscarriage, but I ovulated for 3 good days. I had good surges. I had like the smiley face on the digital tests and whatever. And then I figured that 7-DPO came, I would just start testing, because I'm an early tester, and that's what you do when you're an obsessive TTC woman. I ended up taking a pregnancy test at 7-DPO, and I got a very faint line. So I was freaking out, obviously, because I'm like, it's 7-DPO, it's still really early, so this faint line makes sense. And I had been ovulating. So I just decided to surprise my husband and tell him that I was pregnant again after having no cycle, and that this was a miracle from God. And then I went and told my mother that I was pregnant, and then 8-DPO came, and I tested again, and it wasn't darker. So I was a little bit like, oh, like, am I pregnant? Like, what, like, why is this happening? Maybe these tests are too cheap, whatever. So 9-DPO came, and I tested again, and that's when I started getting miserable, because it wasn't getting darker. I was just freaking out. I was like so over it. And I'm like, how could this still be HCG? Because 2 weeks prior to taking those pregnancy tests, I had done blood work to just check my levels and make sure they were falling, and it was at a 6. So I figured it's been 2 weeks since my last HCG test. These tests must be really positive. Like, I really must be pregnant. But they weren't getting darker, so that just led me to feel like they weren't really positive. You know what I mean? Like, I had this gut feeling that I wasn't pregnant, but I was having, like, you know, those symptoms that you make yourself feel. Yeah, that's what I did. Except I really was crampy, and I still am, but that's besides the whole point. So anyways, I finally broke down and called my doctor last night, and I was like, look, I don't want to do blood work again for you to just tell me that my levels have dropped like 1, or I could be pregnant, but I would hate to go and waste $70 on a blood test because my insurance isn't the best, and just have you tell me that they're still dropping slowly. Like, what, are you gonna do something this time? Like, let's get going. It's been almost 3 months now. So she said, go get blood work, and if they're still dropping, or if they're still like 6 or a 5, then we'll put you on a medicine to induce your period. So I'm like, okay. So I went to the hospital last night, which was Valentine's evening or night or whatever, and I got blood work. And then I came home, figured I wouldn't know anything till today, which is Friday, or the day after Valentine's, and I was getting ready to like watch NASCAR with my husband last night, and my phone rings and it's the hospital, and it was like 9 o'clock or 8:30 or whatever, and she told me that my blood test came back and it is at a 2. I'm not pregnant. Those pregnancy tests that I've been taking that were faint were not, it's not a new pregnancy. It is still my miscarriage taking forever. This like pregnancy does not want to let go of my body. It's just like dripping at this point. Like, it is just beyond me at this. Like, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm done. Like, let's put this behind us and let's start trying again. I'm just so anxious to start trying again for my rainbow baby. She told me that since it's a 2, she's not gonna put me on medicine to start my period, because it would be stupid when I'm at a 2 right now, and it should be out of my system by the end of next week. I'm glad to know what's going on, because yesterday I was like, well, I might be pregnant or I might not. Like, I was just wondering. So at least now, like, I know that I'm not pregnant, and I know that I still have a little tiny bit left. But I also find it so weird that the pregnancy tests say they only pick up 25 or more, like HCG, but I was at a 2 and I was still getting really faint lines. Either those are very sensitive or I have very good eyes. So I'm just gonna stop taking my OPKs and my pregnancy tests, and I will just wait it out for the next week, and then I'll start doing my OPKs. But I did mention that I wanna stop testing early. I wanna wait until at least like the day my period is due or the day after my period is late. So I'm wasting so much money just buying pregnancy tests after pregnancy test, and like, it's just getting exhausting. So I think I'm gonna honestly just wait unless I feel like, okay, I'm very, very pregnant. Like, that's the only way, like if I was vomiting. So right now, if my period comes, it'll probably come sometime in March, and that's depressing, because then if I don't conceive, you know, this coming cycle, we'll have to go into March, and I was really hoping that I would have a belly for summer, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. But that's okay. It's all in God's timing, and I'm just gonna take whatever he gives me. Baby dust to all, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.